Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Do not move. Do not skip this message. Archangel Michael says you have only seconds left to recognize what heaven is trying to reveal to you right now. This is not a random moment, and this is not another ordinary video appearing on your screen. This is a divine interruption. A divine appointment. And if you are hearing this message at this exact second, it means your spirit was guided here for a reason. My beloved child, stay with me carefully, because this moment separates your old life from the new season beginning to form around you. Archangel Michael says there are moments in life when heaven interrupts your routine to awaken your awareness. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now. And this is one of those moments. You always scroll past signs. You always tell yourself you will come back later. But later became delay, and delay slowly became exhaustion. You kept pushing through life while silently carrying weight nobody else could see. Now heaven is forcing you to stop and pay attention. Something inside you already knows this message matters. That feeling in your chest, that sudden pull to stay, that strange sense that this message feels personal, is not coincidence. Archangel Michael says your spirit recognizes truth before your mind fully understands it. That is why you are still here. Your soul is responding to something ancient, something familiar, something heaven planted inside you long before this moment arrived. Stay with me because what comes next explains why your life has felt so different from everyone around you. My beloved child, you were never meant to live an ordinary life. That is why your journey has been harder than most people understand. You carried responsibilities that exhausted you. You survived disappointments that changed you. You experienced rejection that left invisible scars inside your heart. Slowly, without even realizing it, you started believing life would always feel heavy. But Archangel Michael says the pressure was never meant to destroy you. It was shaping you, preparing you, positioning you for something your current mind could not fully understand yet. People chosen for spiritual awareness often walk through seasons others cannot understand. Seasons of delay. Seasons of isolation. Seasons where nothing seems to move forward no matter how much effort you give. During those seasons, you questioned yourself. You questioned your worth. You questioned whether heaven had forgotten your name. But heaven never forgot you. Stay with me because this next part matters deeply. Archangel Michael says there is a gate opening over your life right now. Not a physical gate, but a spiritual one. A moment where awareness creates movement, and movement changes direction. You are standing between two versions of yourself, the exhausted version that kept surviving and the awakened version beginning to rise. That is why this message found you now. Not earlier. Not later. Now. Because your spirit has finally reached the point where transformation can begin. Archangel Michael says do not leave this message halfway because what comes next will reveal why your pain lasted longer than expected and why your breakthrough begins differently than you imagined. My beloved child, this is not fear. This is awakening. This is heaven pulling your attention away from distraction, away from hopelessness, away from the cycle that kept draining your strength. Stay with me because this moment is sacred, and sacred moments change lives quietly before they change them visibly. Archangel Michael says you are not here accidentally. You were guided here intentionally. What begins today will continue unfolding long after this moment ends. So breathe slowly. Stay aware. Listen carefully. Because heaven is not finished with your story yet. My beloved child, stay with me carefully because heaven wants you to understand something your heart has carried for years. Archangel Michael says your struggle was never invisible, even when nobody around you understood it. Even when people dismissed your pain. Even when you smiled in front of others while silently feeling exhausted inside. Heaven saw everything. Every silent tear. Every restless night. Every moment you questioned why your life felt heavier than everyone else's. You watched other people receive blessings while your own prayers seemed delayed. You watched doors open for others while your path stayed uncertain. Slowly, without realizing it, your hope became tired. Not destroyed. Just tired. Archangel Michael says you entered a wilderness season, a season where life felt dry, unclear, and lonely. A season where heaven seemed quiet even though your heart kept crying for answers. That silence confused you because you kept asking, God, why does it feel like I am always waiting? Stay with me because this part matters deeply. The wilderness is not punishment. It is preparation. But preparation rarely feels comfortable while you are living through it. The wilderness strips away illusions. It exposes hidden fears. It forces you to confront the exhaustion you buried beneath your daily routine. And you buried a lot. You buried disappointment beneath fake strength. You buried grief beneath responsibility. You buried fear beneath survival. Over time, your spirit became heavy carrying emotions nobody ever helped you release. My beloved child, there were moments when you felt forgotten. Moments where you wondered if heaven still remembered your name. You prayed quietly. You waited patiently. But life continued testing you. Financial pressure. Emotional pressure. Loneliness. Rejection. The painful feeling of always giving more love than you received. Eventually, you stopped talking about your pain because explaining it became exhausting. Archangel Michael says heaven heard what people ignored. Every sigh. Every hidden cry. Every moment your heart whispered, I cannot keep carrying this alone. Heaven heard all of it, even when nobody else noticed the battle happening inside you. Stay with me carefully because this next part changes how you understand your suffering. Archangel Michael says people chosen for spiritual awakening often walk through longer wilderness seasons because pressure creates depth. Not shallow depth, but real depth. The kind that changes how you see life forever. You thought the waiting meant rejection, but heaven was protecting your timing. Some doors needed to remain closed because you were not yet ready for what stood behind them. Some relationships had to leave because they could not follow where your spirit was being guided. Some delays existed because your awareness still needed growth before your next season could begin. Delay feels painful when you cannot see purpose, but purpose changes how you understand pain. My beloved child, your wilderness season is not endless. It has an ending, even if it felt permanent. Even if you believed nothing would ever shift. Archangel Michael says the season of survival is slowly turning into the season of awakening, and awakening changes everything. The way you think. The way you respond. The way you recognize opportunities. The way you protect your peace. That is why your spirit brought you here today. Not for entertainment. Not for distraction. For confirmation. Confirmation that your life is still moving even when progress felt invisible. Archangel Michael says you are closer to transformation than you realize. What looked like abandonment was actually positioning. Positioning your spirit for awareness. Positioning your heart for restoration. Positioning your life for movement. Stay with me carefully because what comes next reveals why your pain carried hidden purpose and why heaven is about to reframe everything you thought was working against you. God is not finished with your story. Not even close. My beloved child, stay with me carefully because this is the moment where heaven changes the meaning of everything you thought was working against you. Archangel Michael says what you called struggle was never meaningless. What you called delay was never punishment. What you called exhaustion was not proof that your life was falling apart. It was preparation. Alignment. Transformation happening quietly beneath the surface while your human eyes focused only on the visible pain. You believed your suffering meant heaven was distant, but heaven was closer to you during your hardest moments than you realize even now. Archangel Michael says many chosen people misunderstand the process because they expect transformation to feel powerful from the beginning. But transformation usually begins with discomfort, confusion, separation, the breaking of old patterns and old illusions. My beloved child, some things in your life had to fall apart because they could not continue into your next season. Some relationships ended because they were draining your spirit instead of strengthening it. Some opportunities disappeared because they were distractions wearing the disguise of blessings. At the time, it felt painful and unfair. But now heaven wants you to see differently. Not every closed door was rejection. Some doors closed because they were leading you away from your true direction. Stay with me carefully because this changes everything. Archangel Michael says your pain carried hidden purpose. The betrayal taught you discernment. The loneliness taught you how to hear your inner voice. The waiting taught you patience and awareness. The disappointment forced you to stop depending entirely on external validation. None of it felt good while you were experiencing it. But now you are beginning to understand that your spirit was growing stronger through every difficult season. Strength rarely forms during comfort. It forms during pressure. During uncertainty. During moments where you continue moving forward even when you feel emotionally exhausted. My beloved child, heaven is reframing your story right now. You thought you were losing time, but heaven says you were gathering wisdom. You thought life was moving too slowly, but heaven says your awareness needed development before your next chapter could safely begin. You thought your struggles were evidence of abandonment, but Archangel Michael says your struggles were signs of preparation. Chosen people often walk through difficult seasons because they are being shaped for deeper understanding. And deeper understanding changes how you respond to life forever. Archangel Michael says there is also a shift happening in your practical life, not just your spiritual awareness. Your thinking is changing. Your reactions are changing. Your ability to recognize healthy opportunities is changing. This matters because awareness affects direction, and direction affects results. My beloved child, restoration does not always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it begins quietly. A conversation that opens your mind. A new idea that creates movement. A sense of peace replacing fear. A sudden understanding that you no longer need to stay trapped inside the same emotional cycles. These moments may appear small at first, but they are powerful because they shift the foundation of your life. Stay with me because heaven is not finished yet. Archangel Michael says your future is not locked inside your past mistakes. Your future is not controlled by the pain you survived. Your future is still unfolding, and your awareness is helping shape the direction of that unfolding. You are entering a season where you will begin noticing opportunities differently. You will protect your peace more carefully. You will stop chasing people and situations that drain your spirit. You will become more intentional about where your energy goes. And this internal shift will slowly begin affecting everything around you. My beloved child, this is why your wilderness season mattered. It prepared your spirit to recognize truth more clearly than before. Archangel Michael says what comes next will reveal the authority heaven is releasing over your life and why certain burdens are finally beginning to lose their power over you now. My beloved child, stay with me carefully because this is the moment where heaven reveals the authority moving over your life. Archangel Michael says there are burdens you have carried for years that were never meant to stay attached to your spirit forever. Cycles of fear. Cycles of emotional heaviness. Cycles of exhaustion that made every new season feel harder than the one before it. You tried to fight these battles using only human strength. You tried to push through the pressure quietly. But some burdens cannot be removed through effort alone. Some things require awareness, alignment, and spiritual authority working together at the right moment. Archangel Michael says this is that moment. Right now, whether you fully understand it or not, something is shifting around you. Invisible patterns are beginning to weaken. Old emotional chains are beginning to loosen. The heaviness that followed your thoughts day after day is beginning to lose its grip. My beloved child, heaven never intended for you to remain trapped inside endless hopelessness. You may have believed your situation would never change because the struggle lasted so long, but duration does not mean permanence. Some storms stay longer because they are shaping something deeper inside you before they finally pass. Stay with me carefully because this next part matters deeply. Archangel Michael says imagine a sword of light being lifted over your life. Not a weapon of destruction, but a weapon of clarity. A tool of release. A symbol of divine authority separating what belongs in your future from what no longer belongs there. My beloved child, this sword is not attacking you. It is protecting you. It is cutting away emotional heaviness that kept draining your peace. It is cutting away confusion that clouded your judgment. It is cutting away cycles that repeated themselves for years because your awareness had not fully awakened yet. Archangel Michael says there are moments where heaven intervenes quietly before visible change appears. This is one of those moments. You may not see dramatic transformation immediately, but you will begin noticing subtle movement. A lighter feeling in your spirit. A clearer understanding in your thoughts. A growing awareness that you no longer want to remain connected to what constantly drains your energy. These are signs that something inside you is changing first. An internal change always comes before external movement. My beloved child, you thought your life was blocked forever. You thought opportunities disappeared because you were forgotten. But Archangel Michael says what looked like blockage was often protection. Certain doors remained closed because they carried hidden consequences your spirit could not yet see. Certain people left because they could not continue into the direction heaven was guiding you toward. Certain delays existed because your awareness still needed maturity before your next season could safely begin. Stay with me because what comes next reveals how your response to this message will influence the movement beginning over your life right now. My beloved child, stay with me carefully because this is the moment where your awareness must become action. Archangel Michael says understanding a message is not enough if you continue returning to the same fear, the same hopelessness, and the same emotional cycles afterward. Heaven did not bring you here only to listen. Heaven brought you here to awaken something inside you. Something stronger than fear. Something stronger than exhaustion. Something stronger than the voice that kept telling you your life would never change. Right now, heaven is asking for your agreement. Not blind agreement. Conscious agreement. My beloved child, there is power in what you declare over your own life. The words you repeat daily slowly shape your direction, your emotions, and your expectations. That is why fear becomes stronger when repeated constantly. That is why hopelessness grows when you feed it attention every day. But Archangel Michael says the opposite is also true. Awareness grows when you speak with intention. Peace grows when you stop feeding panic. Confidence grows when you stop calling yourself defeated. Stay with me because this next part matters deeply. Archangel Michael says this is the moment to stop speaking like someone abandoned and begin speaking like someone awakening. My beloved child, type these words slowly and intentionally. I am ready to move forward. Do not type them casually. Feel the meaning behind them. Because when you declare movement, your mind begins separating from the identity that kept you trapped in survival mode for years. Heaven is not asking you to pretend life was easy. Heaven is asking you to stop surrendering your future to fear. Archangel Michael says many people stay stuck because they never emotionally release the version of themselves created by pain. They continue thinking like the wounded version. Reacting like the exhausted version. Expecting disappointment because disappointment became familiar. But my beloved child, your future cannot fully open while your mind remains chained to old hopelessness. That is why this moment matters. Not because typing words magically changes your life overnight, but because decisions create internal movement. And internal movement changes direction over time. Stay with me carefully because heaven is still speaking to you now. Archangel Michael says there is someone else in your life who also needs encouragement. Someone carrying emotional heaviness quietly. Someone pretending to be strong while secretly feeling tired inside. Share this message with intention, not because of pressure, but because awareness spreads through connection. Encouragement multiplies when it reaches people at the right moment. And maybe someone connected to you has been waiting for confirmation just like you were. My beloved child, do not return to hopeless thinking after this message ends. Do not allow temporary fear to erase the awareness heaven is building inside you right now. Archangel Michael says your story is still unfolding. Your future is still moving. Your spirit is still growing stronger. And the movement beginning inside you today will continue shaping the direction of your life long after this moment passes. Stay with me because the final part brings peace, reassurance, and the reminder your spirit needs before this message comes to an end today. My beloved child, be still for a moment and stay with me carefully because heaven wants this final message to settle deeply inside your spirit. Archangel Michael says you do not need to panic anymore. You do not need to force every door open with fear and exhaustion. For too long, you carried life as if everything depended completely on your strength alone. You carried pressure silently. You carried emotional heaviness quietly. You carried uncertainty while pretending you were stronger than you actually felt inside. But heaven never asked you to carry everything without rest. Archangel Michael says what is meant for your life does not require endless fear to maintain it. Peace is not weakness. Stillness is not failure. Sometimes the strongest thing a person can do is stop fighting long enough to breathe clearly again. My beloved child, your mind has been overwhelmed for years. Too many worries. Too many disappointments. Too many nights replaying painful memories and imagining worst-case situations about the future. Slowly, your nervous system became used to tension. Your thoughts became used to survival mode. And eventually, peace started feeling unfamiliar to you. Stay with me carefully because this next part matters deeply. Archangel Michael says heaven is restoring more than your circumstances. Heaven is restoring your ability to feel calm again. Your ability to trust again. Your ability to wake up without immediately feeling emotional pressure sitting on your chest. My beloved child, peace begins internally before it becomes visible externally. That is why awareness matters so much. Because awareness changes how you think, how you respond, and how you move through life after painful seasons. Archangel Michael says you are not behind in life even if it feels that way sometimes. You are not forgotten. You are not too late to experience meaningful change. My beloved child, your spirit is still growing. Your story is still unfolding. And your future still contains possibilities you cannot fully see yet. Do not measure your life only by what has not happened yet. Sometimes transformation begins quietly, beneath the surface, before visible results finally appear. A seed underground looks invisible before it eventually rises into the light. Stay with me because heaven is still speaking. Archangel Michael says stop returning mentally to places your spirit already outgrew. Stop reliving every disappointment repeatedly inside your thoughts. Stop speaking over yourself as if your best days are already gone forever. My beloved child, the version of you created by fear does not need to control your future anymore. You are learning awareness now. You are learning peace now. You are learning how to recognize what strengthens your spirit instead of draining it constantly. Archangel Michael says move forward slowly but intentionally after this message ends. Protect your peace carefully. Protect your energy carefully. Protect your thoughts carefully. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your emotional world anymore. My beloved child, heaven is guiding you toward greater clarity, greater emotional balance, and greater understanding than before. That movement may begin quietly, but quiet beginnings still create powerful transformations over time. Stay with me for this final reminder. Archangel Michael says your life is not finished. Your purpose is not over. Your spirit is not broken beyond restoration. Even if the journey felt long, heaven is still guiding your steps forward. So breathe deeply now. Release the pressure to control everything immediately. And move into tomorrow carrying awareness instead of fear, peace instead of panic, and quiet confidence instead of hopelessness.